You are a B2B service-based business owner and you are looking to gain more clients, create more impact, and more revenue in your business. Tune in to Amplify Your Marketing Message with Campbell Rapin. Every week, we're going to take you through how to build an audience of buyers, mastering your marketing message, and making offers that convert consistently. We'll see you all on the inside. To get in front of more people, more ways, more often, there are lots of different tactics available in the marketplace. Today, I want to talk about my personal favorite, the number one strategy I use to accelerate the growth of my business and to have a constant, steady flow of qualified buyers who are interested in my programs and services, because it's one you should be running too. So often we think that getting in front of more people, more ways, more often means cha-ching and a lot of money. It doesn't have to be that way. And in fact, I personally love the low-tech, high-touch strategies, and they're the ones I run. They're simple, they're easy to execute, and they serve my business, which means they have a strong ROI and they're in alignment with how I like to run my business. So today we're talking about speaking. Speaking is the fastest path to cash. And as my mentor says to me frequently, Christine, you can build $1 million business by getting in front of more people, more ways, more often, and speaking well and using speaking as a strategy to create revenue. So that's what I do, and it is highly effective. In today's episode, I want to take you through two core elements to be using this strategy effectively, because I see a lot of people speaking and not as many people getting the $1 million business out of it. And whether you want $1 million or not is not the point. I know if you're choosing time, money, and bandwidth and running a strategy, you do want a good, healthy impact on your bottom line. So today, I want to talk to you about the ROI and 3 particular things you should be measuring in your strategy of speaking. And secondly, I want to talk about the types of speaking opportunities out there, because what I often hear to people is, and I'm like, seriously? This is the most efficient way I know how to do that. And they said, but I'm not you, Christine. I said, just so we're clear between you and I didn't start out to be a great speaker. I'm actually a highly introverted person who's learned to own the stage. When I was very young, I moved around a lot. In fact, I've lived in 5 countries, 30 cities, and some of those cities more than once. So when I was very young going through school, I was always the new kid in class, always standing at the front of the classroom. And when I was young, hiding behind my mother's legs, saying, I am terrified to introduce myself to new people. And I spent a lot of my life hating the spotlight. And yet I knew if I wanted to have friends by recess, I had to initiate. And when you're in business, it is so important that you initiate, because you're the leader. And you're the leader of your business, of your clients, of your prospects, of your vendors, and business is a leadership game. So I had to get good at standing in front of the classroom and saying, hi, my name is Christine Campbell, and telling people a little bit about me. As that grew, I eventually got to be so confident in my mind about what I was like as the speaking persona that I could step onto almost any stage in very short form and do a great job. So much so that when I was working for Procter & Gamble, when I lived in London, England, I was invited to be a course trainer, a corporate trainer globally on effective presentation skills. And I wasn't interested in teaching the sales and marketing peeps how to do this. Truthfully, I wanted to teach the HR, the finance, the R&D, the people who were not natural speakers, how to do this well. And a lot of my clients, I help on the same path, because speaking is a leveraged strategy, which means we know it. You cannot build new clients consistently in your business if you don't constantly get in front of strangers. So I would rather do this a few times a week and have a great pipeline of new people moving towards my business than to do 100 other things and to go cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching every other time, because I had to outsource course, the skill. Speak fire once and repeat. So for me, that elegant simplicity caught my imagination, and I hope it's catching yours because speaking is a learned skill. So learn it. And here's how you do it. So in the world of speaking, there are two philosophies around the types of stages you can have. There is the keynote strategy, and there is the speak to sell strategy. When you are a keynote speaker, this is where somebody pays you, often cash, to grace their stage. And the only compensation you receive is from that lump sum payment that says be on this location at this date and deliver this talk to an audience that is provided for you. It's a great way to do it. And it is also a way that is becoming less and less common. And in my case, not desired often because it limits the amount of time that you can create revenue, because often there are highly restricted covenants in your contract about what you can offer, because you're often there to inspire or to educate instead of sell. And so me as a business owner and you as a business owner listening to this podcast might be thinking, well, I need revenue. I need to be able to sell. So that's you. You might prefer the second strategy. The second strategy, as I said, is called speak to sell. And what that means is you are not compensated by a flat rate to speak, but you have the opportunity to invite a call to action, to make an offer. Sometimes that's a free lead magnet, sometimes it's a paid program. Depending on the audience, you might choose one or the other. But you're not paying out of the gate, but expecting from your offer to be creating wealth. And the thing I love about this is this wealth isn't just once, it's the lifetime value, because as you bring a new person into your business, you might sell multiple programs to them over the course of the years that you serve each other. And it's a win, it's off the charts. But when you're speaking to sell, your goal means you have to be a great converter as a speaker. It's not enough just to inspire. It's not enough just to raise the room. You've got to get movement happening. And as you've heard before, if you've been a fan of this podcast a long while, movement is the key to cash. Movement and being able to move somebody from I'm curious to I want that is a critical skill. So if it's critical in every other marketing tactic you choose, it is absolutely still critical as a speaker. And you're going to need help with that because it doesn't come naturally. And that's why even myself, I pay a coach to help me speak to sell more effectively. And she's awesome. So when you're speaking to sell, there's two types of ways you might go to market. You might do it for free, and you might also pay to play. And I'm constantly surprised by how many people have never heard of or feel it's vulgar or offensive to pay to play. Truthfully, I'm constantly surprised by this. I will tell you, I will pay to play for the right room every day of the week. Why? Because if somebody knowingly has brought together my ideal clients and they want cash for me to get access to that room, it is the lowest cost per acquisition I spend of all my marketing dollars because I know how to convert. And so I'm happy to pay if you will get the room full for me because I know I can do a great job on the offer. If you're not sure that you can convert, you might not love this strategy. But rather than hate the strategy, learn to play the strategy well would be my advice as your advisor. So let's dial it back. You get to keynote, which is getting paid to speak, or you do not get paid to speak. You might, in fact, pay to play because you're going to be making an offer and getting that offer, creating cash. And if you're a business owner, I want you to hear that. Cha-ching. I want you to be getting cash out of your speaking. So now that you understand the framework and you know that speaking really is an incredible way to leverage audience and to be able to identify the potential buyer in the room, how? With movement, then you can really run this strategy and create a rather fast way to accelerate the growth of your client base. But the theory is great. I want you to be focused on what are you measuring? Because business is math. You cannot get away from this. Business is math. So, if you're going to invest in any strategy, this one today we're talking about speaking, I want you to have a focus on how are you measuring your effectiveness of your time, money, bandwidth by running this chosen strategy. So, here are the three things I measure. It is hardly surprising you've heard this before, but it is really important that you're in the right room. If you are not in front of people who want to know what you do, offer, and how to get in touch with you, you are not in the right place. I don't care whether you got paid for it or you're hoping for a miracle on the other side, it's ineffective. So, the first thing, let's talk about return on influence. You've got to be in the right room. And you've got to know how to choose the right rooms. And that means vetted opportunities. That means referred opportunities. That means delivering and getting clear what do they need to create movement, and are you in a good situation to pitch that audience and that room. So, influence of this host, influence of the audience, influence of the action takers, and your ability to move people, critical. So, are you building influence? Not only are you influencing the people, you are seen as a person of influence. One of the things that's so fascinating is if you are endorsed by being invited onto somebody else's platform, either as a keynote or as a speak to sell speaker, suddenly people go, oh, they're an expert. Not because they told me they were an expert, but because somebody else endorsed them. So this is key. Your visibility on other people's stages immediately starts to build trust with a room of strangers. And that's a big win on the speed train. The other thing that you're gaining influence if you start to create your stages is you become a destination, a referral partner, somebody that they want to have strategic alliances with because you have access. And access to potential buyers creates big ripples for everybody. And so as you're evaluating, is it the right room? Are they the right people I want to partner with? And do I want to step into this arena? I want you to be asking about the return of influence and looking at this as multifaceted, because not all speaking opportunities are equal. Yes, you do the deal, but I want to know, did you get client movement, qualified leads into your business? Because if not, the strategy was not effective. Number two is the return on impact. Impact comes in a lot of different ways. It is, in simple terms, did you create movement? Did you serve the audience well so that they took action? Did you solve a specific problem? And here, please, as somebody who hosts stages, you only will be selected if you solve a specific problem. No more pitching yourself as I can talk about business. I can talk about unicorns. I can talk about marketing. I can talk about SEO. Like, it's never going to get you booked on a really good stage of buyers in the room because it's too generic. You've got to be sure I solve a specific problem at a specific intersection point, and that's the right opportunity, and get yourself in it. But specificity is key. It's important that you're relevant. And I mean relevant from what's going on in the economic climate. You talking about strategies that won 10 years ago does not make you relevant today. I'm going to say that one more time for the people in the back. Talking about stuff that used to work 10 years ago and it's not working today does not give you credibility in the audience of today. I also want you to be relevant to understanding where is the audience at. And that's a good conversation to be having with the host before you either pitch or accept an invitation. Because if you're somebody who works with business owners that already have millions of dollars, team, and momentum in their business, and you're somebody who talks about what's it like to be a solopreneur, you're not relevant to that room. And so you've got to do the research, and that's conversations. And that's also essentially speaking. I want you to be sure that you're captivating and interesting and bringing the energy. And the most important thing you do, if you steal the show, is it's because you created value. I don't want you just to sizzle like a bright, shining star. I want you to be a shooting star with substance And value, remember, always, always, always is in the eyes of the audience, the next buyer. It's not in the value as you perceive it. So the best way to be asking, how do I deliver value, is to ask your event host, where are they at? What's their biggest concern? How can I bring enough value? And then bring it. Bring it with all of your bright, intense, amazing energy and move the mountain for them. So we've talked about return of influence and return of impact. The third thing I am measuring, and I invite you to be measuring if you're going to run speaking as your strategy to get in front of more buyers, to amplify your business, to create more revenue and profit, is to be thinking about the math. Investment. And investment is about the choice. Do you get paid or do you pay? What does it create from a time, money, partnership opportunity? And there are many times, this podcast, in fact, was one of them, where I said it was not about cash, it's about partnership. When I started this podcast, it was never about me attracting clients from my business, which is not common in the podcasting space. Most people do this because they think they're going to create clients. I wasn't interested in clients as my number one goal. It's not how I was going to measure the ROI. I wanted to find people who I could invite into my platform that would be valuable to my clients, my current clients, my past clients, and my future clients. And so it was about partnership well beyond money. That was the most important criteria I chose. And we're more than 100 episodes into this. And why am I still running the strategy? Because it works. Because I'm disciplined with it and I'm checking the business math. So let's pull it all together. You don't have to already be really comfortable the moment you take the stage. Speaking is an acquired skill. The first time I stepped on a stage, I was terrified. When I step on a stage today, I'm still terrified, but I'm very committed to serving the audience. And it's not about me. I have to show respect to the audience by being the best I can be. And so I put in the reps off screen, backstage, and I work and pay for mentors to help me be a great stage presence who moves the mountain. But you start. You simply choose to start. And why should you start? Because speaking is the fastest path to cash. My mentor is very often reminding me that when you're a great speaker and you're in the right rooms and you have a great high ticket offer, you can build $1 million business in 48 occasions a year. Well, I'd rather do 48 occasions of 365 days than to be doing 100 other things times 10. No, thank you. I want to create influence, impact, and investment that is strong to my bottom line. I want to remember that I get to choose which types of speaking opportunities I choose, whether it's keynote or speak to sell. What matters is your choices. What matters is how you communicate to the audience. And it goes without saying, so I'm going to say it, that in order to move a mountain, you've got to get those foundations that we talk about a lot here on this platform. You've got to know who the buyer is. You've got to be able to identify and move them from curious to paid client. And you've got to be really clear, what do they value and what makes you the must hire. And you've got to sizzle and have substance. And you've got to have confidence when you take the stage. So these are things that I do in my business. They're choices I personally made. And many of my clients choose to follow my footsteps. Not all, but many. And they do so because they see how effective it is for me. Influence is granted when you choose to step into an audience and say, I've got something important to share because I understand what you want and I've got expertise to help you get there. Speaking is a fun way to grow your business. It is an elegantly simple way to grow your business. So if you're thinking, kind of caught my imagination, Christine, then I want to invite you to start speaking today, to use these elegantly simple strategies, to choose the lane you want to get into, and to focus on the ROI, because you get better through lived experience. So today is the perfect day to make today day one. Get out there, go amplify your marketing message, and go crush it. I can't wait to see you on the next stage. I'll see you there. That's a wrap on another amazing episode of Amplify Your Marketing Message with me, your host, Christine Campbell Rapin. Be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform so you don't miss another great episode. And be sure to visit christinecampbellrapin.com/podcast to get a free resource on how to master your marketing message. We'll see you all on our next episode.